Welcome. This is 108 Stitches, which is a mostly knitting video podcast. Sometimes I will talk about some other crafting. Sometimes, very rarely now, I will talk about baseball. It really hasn't been a while. It's mostly just about the knitting and the crafting and making things with yarn. Mostly the knitting. But thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Emily, and I live in Seattle, Washington with my husband Ovis and our pup Norman, who was nice and settled when I sat down to record this and is now kind of pacing and walking around the house, so we'll see what he gets up to during the next hour or so. But today is Tuesday, May 31st. It is just around 11 o'clock in the morning. We actually have some light today in Seattle, so hopefully our lighting is good, and I'm also hoping to get outside and spend some time out in the sunlight this afternoon. It has been a definitely delayed spring. It feels like we're still in winter. I'm wearing short sleeves because I'm just like trying to channel summer energy. I'm so ready for summer weather, but I read something today that said that in Seattle, from January 1st until May 29th, the past like several years by this point in time, we've normally had like several days of weather over 70 degrees, and we haven't had a single day that was like over 70 for like a substantial period of time this year. So not the best summertime weather. But anyway, lots to get to today. First, I wanted to just say thank you again to everyone who submitted questions for my last episode. If you haven't watched that one, definitely go back and check it out. It's a little bit of a non-traditional episode. Rather than doing my usual like finished objects and works in progress and everything, I did a Q&A session, and I put up a little question box on Instagram and had a ton of really great questions, and I just went through those questions, and then I also am doing a giveaway on that video. So if you haven't yet, definitely go check out that video. I'm going to leave the giveaway open for another week, so before I record next week's episode, I will draw a name, so you have another week if you are just now seeing this video and you haven't watched the previous one and you haven't entered the giveaway. Definitely go do that before the next week. I'm giving away this beautiful yarn. I won't go through it again, so go watch that video and you can learn about this yarn, and also some cute little stitch markers as well. So, and all you have to do is just comment on the video and tell me what you like about yourself. That's all you have to do to enter the giveaway. So couldn't be easier. So yes, thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to go back to kind of a normal framework here for the video. I'm going to go through some stuff that I've been working on, stuff that I finished, and some stuff I have planned. I have some new acquisitions. I've got really a little bit of everything today, so hopefully it'll be a fun one. And I'm feeling really excited about a lot of the stuff that I'm making. I don't know, I just have really good, positive knitting vibes right now. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to you all about it. So I do have a finished object to share. Unfortunately, no, it is not my Birch sweater. Those of you who have watched for the last couple months will know that I have been trying to, I say catch up, but basically I want to knit a sweater every month in this year, 2022. And I am just slightly behind pace, mostly because I traveled for work in March and I was gone for 3 weeks in Arizona, and I did not get a ton of knitting done during that time, so I didn't finish a sweater in March, but I did finish one pretty early April, and then I thought I would be able to finish another one at the end of April, and I couldn't quite do it. So then that pushed into early May, and I thought I could finish another one by the end of May, and I don't think I'm going to make it. So I'll talk about the Birch in a little bit. That's the other sweater that I have that I was hoping I'd be able to finish by this month. I mean, I guess I could finish it today and that would count, but I have quite a ways to go and I don't think I'll make it. But I had been really focused on knitting the Birch. I'd been spending like almost all of my time and energy on that sweater, and I'll talk more about it. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Birch, that's the sweater I've been working on, and I'll talk more about it, the pattern and the yarn and everything. So I'd been really focused on knitting that sweater, and I hadn't spent a ton of energy on anything else. And then, I don't know, it wasn't really low mojo. It was just like my knitting energy was somewhere else, or like low for that project or whatever. And I was like, okay, I really want to knit on something a little different. I feel like I've been working on this sweater for a really long time. I need a little bit of a change. So I also kind of wanted to finish this pair of socks by the end of the month as well. So I ended up finishing the socks that I was knitting for my husband. So I feel like I've been knitting these forever. I guess I cast them on maybe in March. So it has been a while, and I finished the first one last month, I believe, in April. And then I finished the second one in basically like 2 days. I don't remember if I showed this on the last, I know I didn't on the last like video that I recorded, but my last like normal podcast, I don't remember if I showed where I was on this sock, but I was, I think, like right here roughly. I'd done the cuff and a tiny bit more. Sorry, it's kind of dark. This yarn is a little dark. But I'd done very little on this sock. And then it was, I guess, when was it? Maybe Thursday? Last Thursday, so today's Tuesday. So, you know, just a few days ago. It's like, okay, I really have high sock knitting energy, so I'm going to try to work on this sock a lot. And then I spent a lot of the day Friday, and then Saturday I was at work. I was at the store, the yarn store I work at. And then Sunday I finished the sock. So I basically knit the sock in 2 days, like Friday, Sunday. I had done a little bit, but yeah, I did a little bit on Saturday as well, like when I was commuting and after I got back from work. But for the most part, I just knitted in those 2 days. I didn't really work on anything else in those days. I was mostly, had been working on the Birch before, and yeah, I just cranked out a sock. So I'm really happy. I was also like, I don't know if you guys have this ever with your relationships or with your partners, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, just like having intense, like pretty much love and affection for my husband, and I just really, I wanted to be working on something for him that just, I don't know, just based on like the feelings I was having and the energy in my heart, I was like, I really want my hands to be working on something for this person that I really love. So I channeled that into finishing his socks, and I really love how they turned out. This pattern is a pattern of my own design. It has been published. It is available. So if you want to match my husband, if you want to match me, I have a pair of these socks as well. You can find the pattern. I'll link it down below, but you can also find it on Ravelry. I think there's a link in my Instagram profile as well. So you can find it lots of places. But the pattern is called the Almost Argyle Socks. Ooh, I said that kind of weird. The Almost Argyle Socks. I find it to be a really fun pattern. It's got like just enough interest to like, you know, keep you interested, I guess, with these pretty easy to follow one stitch cables that make this really fun like interlocking diamonds pattern. And then for the most part, you don't have to follow the chart or pattern super closely if you can like read your knitting. And yeah, it's just pretty fun, I think, to work on. This yarn was also just so beautiful to work with. This is Explorer Knits, her Denali sock base, which is a standard 80-20 sock yarn, 80% merino, 20% nylon. I knit these socks, as I always do, on 9-inch circulars, so the small circular needles. And I use a size 0 to get the fabric that I like. And then the pattern does have 2 sizes, has a 60 stitch size and a 72 stitch size, and this is the larger size. This is the 72 stitch size. And I have not yet woven in the ends or blocked them, but here they are. This is what it looks like. I did use contrasting heels and toes. And I'm glad I didn't do cuffs as well because I would have run out of yarn. I barely had any more of this gray yarn. This is Grenouille. This is a base she doesn't carry anymore. It is the 75-25 sock yarn, 75% merino and 25% nylon. She switched over to carrying only the 85-15 merino nylon sock base, which is a little bit softer and like smoother. And I'm actually working on something in that base right now as well, and it is lovely. I like this one too. And the color for the gray is, of course, if you have watched me before, you know what color this is. It is Lampblack, my very favorite gray of all time. So I just put in little heels and toes of that gray color. I thought it gave it like a fun little contrast. Yeah, and I finished them. So here they are. I will hopefully weave in the ends and block them soon. Maybe I'll do that today. Maybe not though. I'll probably wait for a while. My husband, Ovis, was saying that since the weather is getting a little warmer, it may not be weather for wool socks for a while, which is just unfortunate that I finished the socks just in time for him to not be able to wear them. But they'll be ready for fall, so they'll be all good. And maybe I can knit him another pair of socks before then as well. So yes, that is the almost Argyle socks. Was there anything else I wanted to say about that? Oh, did I say the color for this? The colorway, I said it was Explorer Knits Denali sock. The colorway is Nightfall, which is from her solstice last year. And I got it at Naughty Lamb. She came and did a trunk show there for the Rose City Yarn Crawl. And so I grabbed a skein of it there, and I just love it. And I think it's a great color, and Ovis really likes this color too. So, perfect socks. So that is my only finished object for the week. Like I mentioned, a lot of my other knitting energy went into the Birch. So it's been 2 weeks, I know, since I showed this to you all. And my goal for a week ago was to have the body done. And that was if I was going to be on pace to finish the sweater by the end of the month. And I am about a week behind schedule because I finished the body last night. So I did do a tubular bind off on the body, and that took quite a while. I think it took me like 3 different sittings to finish the bind off just because it was a lot of stitches. And I don't know if any of you all have done the tubular bind off before. It's like a sewn bind off. It just takes a really long time. Basically, you're doing Kitchener stitch all the way around the bottom of your sweater. And I will just do a small plug here again. I talked about this last time I did a tubular bind off, but if you have not checked out, I think it's the Shibui Knits written tutorial for doing a tubular bind off, I would highly recommend it. I have read other things and watched other things, and that is by far the easiest to follow for me. So anyway, I'll link that below as well. But this is the Birch sweater, Birch pullover, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. I am using Autumn and Indigo Classic Sport in the Lomah colorway for this sweater. The pattern calls for fingering weight yarn, and I am instead using a sport weight yarn. So my gauge is not quite right, and I adjusted by using a different needle size than the pattern calls for. I believe the pattern calls for a US size 2, and I'm using a 2.5 so that I don't have too dense of a fabric with the sport weight yarn. And then I also am knitting a smaller size than I otherwise would have to get the intended ease that I want. I didn't do exact math for this one. I did like rough math and was like, I think it'll work out. And so far it's worked out. So I know I haven't blocked it yet. I guess I'm just going to put this on top of my other sweater and on top of my overalls. But I wanted for you guys to see kind of roughly what it looks like and how it fits and everything. Let's get back a little bit so that you can see. It's a little short, which is what I wanted. I was hoping that it would be a little bit short because I know that this is, so I may have said brioche earlier. This is half fisherman's rib, which is kind of like half brioche. And it's a very, very stretchy fabric. You know, it's super, super stretchy because it's kind of like squishy rib. But it also, I know when you, from experience, when you block this fabric, it will stretch quite a bit vertically. So my hope is that it stretches just a little bit to give me a good length. If it ended up being this length permanently, I'd be fine with that. I do want maybe another like inch or two in the body. So that's why I stopped where I did. I think I ended up, as far as like following the pattern, I think I maybe did the body like an inch shorter than she calls for, just because I was trying to take into account that stretch. But yeah, I finished the body yesterday and I think it fits beautifully. I'm a little worried it'll be slightly too big once I block it, just because I know it'll block out a little bit. but even if it's a little bit roomier, I still think I'll be really happy with the fit. So I'm really happy with how this is turning out. All I have left to do are the sleeves, and I have talked about this before, but for some reason, I just have in my head that like a sleeve takes 1 day. I know like different yarn weight or like sleeve length or anything all like affect how long it takes to knit a sleeve, or like how much time I have to knit that day or whatever, but maybe my toxic trait is just thinking that I can knit a sleeve in a day, no matter any of the other factors. I'm just like, yeah, a sleeve in a day. So I would tell you, I have 2 more days left on this sweater and then it will be done. I don't know how true that actually is. Feels like it'll take longer than that because it is half fisherman and it is sport weight yarn and it's on a pretty small needle, so I would guess I probably have another like 4, maybe 5 days on this sweater, but I don't know. Not that much left, so just sleeves to go. And I think that was all the information I wanted to share about this. Is that all the things that are interesting to know about it? I talked about the size. I'm knitting the smallest size. The needle size I'm using is a US 2.5. The yarn. I love this color. You will see in my acquisition section that I am a little bit obsessed with like this exact color. I think since then I also have bought 2 shirts that are almost exactly this color as well. Since I've been knitting this, I'm just really obsessed with this color right now. Yellow is my favorite color, but like this specific yellow I think is just the perfect yellow. It's not like too mustardy or like too orangey. It's just like a golden yellow. It's also not too bright and primary. It's not like pastel baby yellow. It's just like a perfect golden yellow. I don't know. I love this color and I want to wear it. I don't know. I think I was talking to my friends about this and my sister as well. People often, especially like in yarn stores when they're picking out yarn or just in general when they're talking about clothes or what they're wearing, will talk about their coloring and like what colors look good on them and like their skin. And I know there's this whole like season thing too, like each person is like a winter or an autumn or a summer, or like people will talk about even, I guess they're even more than that, like a cool winter, or I don't know. I clearly don't know about these things, but I don't know if like my eyes are bad or like I'm just not good at seeing color, or I don't know what people are really talking about when they say like I look good in this color or bad in this color, or like I can't wear this color because it looks bad with my skin or whatever. Like I don't see that in myself or others really. I think I'm missing something. So I never like rule out colors because of how I think they'll look like on my skin or anything. So as far as I know, like this could be a bad color for me, or like any color I pick could be a bad color for me and I just can't tell. And rather than like trying to learn and figure it out, I feel like I'll be happier if I just don't ever learn and I don't think about it and I just wear whatever colors I want and hope that I don't look horrible in them. I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know what made me think about that, but this yellow is definitely a favorite of mine and I am going to be wearing more of it, and I can't wait to have this finished sweater because I feel like it's the kind of classic, like a really good shape and a really good color that goes with a lot of the other stuff that I wear. Like I feel like this would be so cute under these overalls. Can you imagine if I had this finished and was wearing this under these? Maybe this will be a good outfit for finished object photos. But yeah, I just think I'm going to wear this a ton and I just really like the look. So that is my progress on the Birch pullover by Andrea Mowry. Oh, before I go into any other stuff, I should tell you what I'm wearing. Speaking of overalls, these are new overalls to me and I love them. They have like this part is like elastic, which I really like. It's like nice and stretchy. So I don't know if you guys have this whenever you wear overalls. Well, also I don't know how many other people wear overalls. I really like overalls. I also like British people call them dungarees, which I think is like the cutest thing ever. And I had started kind of calling them dungarees, and other people like in the US were like, what are you talking about? What is that? But I just think it's such a cute word. Anyway, so my dungarees, they are new. I got them from REI. They were having, which if you don't know is like a, how do you describe REI? It started around here in the Seattle area. It is a kind of like outdoor, I guess outdoor is the word. It's like an outdoor like store where you can get a lot of stuff for like hiking and running and camping and climbing and outdoor retailer, I guess. I don't know. But I went because this month is their like anniversary month, and so they're doing a ton of, they were doing like a lot of sales. Anyway, when my sister and my brother and my sister's boyfriend were in town last week, we went to the REI flagship store, which is their like largest location here in Seattle. And I didn't actually get these that day because I was I like got a pair of hiking pants and I saw them, but we weren't in a rush, but we just like didn't have a ton of time that day. And I kept thinking about them, and so I went back like a couple days later and I got them on sale, and I love them. They come in other colors and I kind of want to get the other colors. Today is the last day of the sale. I guess I'm going to post this tomorrow, so I will not have helped you all get any REI things, but hopefully I'm just like sending mind waves out into the earth so that if you feel my waves, check out REI's anniversary sale. But anyway, that's where I got these. But also what I'm wearing is the shirt underneath. This is the Rift tee, which I tested for Rachel Kurihara, or Rachel Knits Things on Instagram, and it uses one of my very favorite yarns. This is Big Little Yarn Co. Melanie, who is on maternity leave right now because she had a baby, and congratulations to Mel if you're watching. Congrats, Mel. I'm so happy for you. But this colorway is called Bramble, and it is just like one of my favorite colors of all time. I'm obsessed with this color. I remember when Mel and I were putting together the little sets for the Stripey Turtle Tank. If you are new here, Stripey Turtle Tank was my first ever published pattern, and Mel reached out to me about doing kits for the pattern. And so we talked about putting together kits and what colors to put together, and I wanted to put Bramble in like every single kit because it's just the best color and it goes with everything. So yes, it is a beautiful like reddish purple brown, and I kind of want more of it. I almost like, I'm never drawn to these kinds of colors. Like purple is not a big one for me, brown is not a big one for me, but for some reason like this color specifically I am so obsessed with. So anyway, this is Bramble, and this is my Riley tee, and I think it's cute under these overalls. So I'm feeling cute outfit today. Anyway, that was my pause to talk about what I'm wearing. Let's keep talking about works in progress. So we talked about the Birch. I cast on a new project last night. So yesterday we spent, or did I say this? I redid the intro a couple times, so I don't remember which time I said this. But yesterday was Memorial Day, and so my husband, Ovis, was off of work. And so we spent quite a bit of time together yesterday playing board games. We were playing Gloomhaven, which I don't know if any of you know what that is. It's like a pretty time-consuming, lengthy, intense board game. And we ended up playing it twice because the first time we lost, it's a co-op game. First time we lost, and we really wanted to play it again, so we played in the morning, and then we did the rest of the stuff that we had to do during the day, and then in the evening we played it again, and we won the second time, don't worry. But I didn't have anything that was like pretty simple to work on while we were playing the game, and so I just cast on a new pair of socks. So when my brother was here visiting us last week, he mentioned to me that he wanted another pair of hand-knitted socks, which I just, like, I do not perceive that as, like, a mean or demanding thing. Like, I know some people don't like to be asked to knit things, but I find it to be just, like, a huge compliment. I had knit him a pair of socks, and he said he was, like, nervous to wear them because he didn't want to wear them out. Like, he didn't want to wear holes in them and stuff. And so he asked if I would knit him another pair. and I am more than happy. I love knitting for people when they love it. Like, it's one of my very favorite things. I would rather knit something for someone else and for them to love it than knit something for myself. And I still like mostly knit for myself, but I love knitting for other people when they like it. It's just, I don't know, it's the best feeling. So anyway, he asked me for another pair of socks, and I got out like an armful of sock yarn and brought it to him and was like, what colors do you like? Which of these do you want? And I think he had a couple. I don't remember if this was his very favorite or one that he really liked, but he picked this beauty, which is Grenouille. Let's see if it will focus for us here. Yeah, woo! Beautiful. Did you guys hear Norman snore right there? That was so funny. Okay, so here it is. This colorway is called Wolfsbane, and it's beautiful gray, brown, and like blue, almost like purpley at sections as well. I think it's gorgeous. It was really pretty in the skein, but it's even more beautiful caked up. And if you can believe it, I think it's even more beautiful knitted up as well. Sometimes with variegated yarns, I love them in the skein and I love them in the cake, but I don't love them knitted up. And this one, I love the way it's knitting up. It's just so like, I don't know. It's like subtle, but also beautiful. And this base I was talking about, this is Grenouille's 8515 sock yarn, which is definitely like smoother and softer and kind of shinier. And I think it just shines beautifully. I think the colors are gorgeous. I think it's coming together really well already. So I just cast this on last night and I knitted on it while we were playing our second round of Gloomhaven. And I do not have a pattern that I'm following for these. This is not a pattern that I'm like, you know, writing myself or intending to publish or anything. It's just a basic self-drafted sock. I love to do ribbed socks, especially for people that I don't have access to their foot while I'm knitting, because a ribbed sock just fits the best. So in the past I really like a 3x1 ribbed sock. I think that makes just like a beautiful fabric. But in the past I've just done 3x1 rib the whole way, and I thought this time I would put just like a little 1x1 ribbed cuff on the top, and I love the way that this looks. I think this is gonna be like my go-to. This is like my vanilla sock, is actually a 1x1 rib cuff and then 3x1. And then of course for the foot I'll do stockinette on the bottom and 3x1 rib on the top. And I just love it. So for this one, I'm doing 64 stitches. It may look a little skinny, but it is ribbed, so like it'll stretch for sure. And also my brother, similar to me, we both, and really my sister as well, I think all of us, have really skinny feet. So I am knitting it slightly bigger than I would for myself. I would probably do 60 stitches for myself. And for Ben, I am doing a 64 stitch sock. And I think that will be just right for him. I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but whenever I block a sock, of course, it like relaxes quite a bit, but after the first wear, I feel like it relaxes quite a bit. And so I've been trying the last couple to err on the side of a little tighter so that after you wear it 1 or 2 times, it still fits pretty well and it isn't too like slouchy at that point. I don't think we'll have that issue with the ribbed sock. I think this will go pretty well, so. Anyway, this is, yeah, I said the colorway name is Wolfsbane. This was the day 25 Advent full skein for, believe this was last year. So this was 2021. I'm trying to remember because I have gotten the Grenouille Advent the last 2 years. I think this was the most recent one. So this was December 25th, 2021. And I love the color. I think it's just so pretty. And I think it's going to make just a beautiful pair of socks. So, I started that last night, and my last whip for today is one that I didn't make a ton of progress on. I think most of my progress was made this morning. I had a ton of energy for it. Again, because I put a lot of my energy into the Birch pullover, but another sweater that I cast on that I'm hoping to finish next month as well is my dad's sweater. So this is a new design. If you are new and haven't heard me talk about it before, I'll give you the speed version. Basically, my dad wore a ton of these Land's End sweaters when I was younger, and I love them and have like a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in them. It's a very like woolly wool sweater with a set-in sleeve, and I am trying to design a pattern that exactly replicates this sweater. So I cast on, this is the back panel, and I have been working on that. So I haven't made a ton of progress, but here it is. It's kind of rolling because it's stockinette. The yarn is La Bien-Aimée Corrie worsted, and the yarn is actually what it's inspired me to do this. So I actually felt one of my friends who had made a sweater out of this yarn, and I had this like intense nostalgia reaction to the point where I was so emotional about it that this yarn felt to me like my dad's sweaters. And so I decided that I wanted to use this yarn and replicate this sweater. And so I asked my mom to ship me one of my dad's sweaters, and I have been taking a ton of time just kind of like studying it, thinking about the construction. I have been reading and watching videos about how to do the specific types of construction that I want to do. And the idea here is to do a really like approachable and palatable set-in sleeve sweater. So like a top-down sweater where the body of the sweater is knit top-down as well as the sleeves are knit top-down, like picked up around the armholes and knit top-down, but also a set-in sleeve. So you don't have to do any seaming, but you still get that really cool construction that isn't quite a drop shoulder. It's a little bit more like shaped on the sleeve cap, which matches the Land's End sweater. And is just going to be like a very perfect basic sweater. I'm excited. I think I'm honestly going to end up knitting so many of these. I think it's going to be just like a really perfect go-to sweater for me, and I'm pumped about it. But yeah, I started, this is the back panel, and the progress I've made, I started doing the armhole shaping. So that's something I started on this morning, is working on the armhole shaping. I'm a little bit worried. I think this back panel may be a little small. I'm worried about not having enough room in the bust and not getting to the full bust circumference early enough so that it's nice and roomy in the bust. So I'm going to probably finish this sample and block it, because I know blocking will help relax everything really well as well. I did knit a swatch and measure my swatch and use that blocked swatch measurement to decide how many stitches to cast on for the back panel. But thinking back, I think I maybe should have given it a little bit more extra. Anyway, you guys don't need to know all of this about my thought process for the design or anything, but I will just say I think there is potential that I make some modifications before doing like another sample or another iteration of it. So yeah, I think I really want to get this one right, especially because I think almost your like simple basic patterns require even more like attention to detail than the more complicated ones, because it's just so important to get it exactly right. Like I want the fit to be perfect. I want the instructions to be written really easily and really well. And so, yeah, I'm giving myself a ton of time working on this, and I'm really enjoying working with it. I love working with this yarn whenever I knit with it. Again, like I talked before about how I love knitting for other people, and like while this sweater, this sample is for myself, because I think it's important to me that my first sample I knit for myself, because I have really easy access to my body. So when I am testing sizing and things, it's really great to have access to my body to test it and everything. But it does have this like nostalgia feeling for me. It has this connection to my dad, and the yarn is just like really meaningful to me in that way as well. So I have really enjoyed working on this, and I can't wait to work some more on it. Yeah, so I mapped out how to do the armhole increases today, and have just started working on those, and I may work on them some more later today. But yeah, this is, I think I don't know, I haven't decided on the name of the pattern yet, but I keep just calling it my dad's sweater, and I kind of love that. Like, just, I don't know, I like that name. So this may be the name of the sweater. It may just be called my dad's sweater. So yeah, that is my last work in progress. I'm really hoping, okay, let's not make too ambitious of goals, but I would like, by the time I record next week, I would like to have the Birch finished. So that is 2 sleeves. And I would like to have this sweater. I would like, basically what I'm doing is I'm knitting the back flat until I get to the underarm, and then I'm knitting the front flat until I get to the underarm, and then I'm gonna join them and then do in the round for the rest of the body. I would like to finish the back part down to the underarm and have picked up the front. That seems reasonable, right? 2 sleeves, and then like this one goes fast because it's worsted weight yarn. I think I can do that. That is my goal for next week. And if I don't have that, then that's fine. And I'll be okay. But I'm just speaking it into the universe so that you all know what my goals are. So yeah, that is my last work in progress. I do have some plans as well. Another design that I've been thinking about, so those of you that have been following for a while will remember I have iterated on this design several times. Lots of times I've iterated on this design, and I had a thought the other day and I was like, these colors are really singing to me. I feel like this is the way to do it. So I had an idea, and I'm not going to go through the idea now. I'll wait until I have some more progress on the sample, and then I'll talk to you all about it and the construction and everything. But I am revisiting what I'm tentatively calling right now the Slanty Stripey vest. And if you don't remember, I talked about this a while ago. I knit up this swatch that has these really fun intarsia stripes. So you can see the stripes change color partway through, and there are like these little slanty intarsia lines, which I love. And so I really want to make a cute kind of like pullover tank vest that is much more positive ease than the stripy turtle tank. I think it would just be fun to be like a little boxy vest tee type thing. And I originally thought that I would do like a buttoned vest, but now I'm thinking, no, whatever. I'm sure I'll iterate even more on it. But I talked a while ago, I got some Woolberry yarn, and I was putting together this like Woolberry palette. And I'm just so inspired by these colors together that I wound them up this morning, and I'm hoping to cast on this new design soon. So I'd love to hear from you all what you think about these colors together, because there was one that I'm a little bit not quite sold on. But for the vest, I want to do 1 main color and 5 contrast colors, because that's often how mini skein sets come, in sets of 5. And so I think 5 contrast colors is great. That makes it really a great fit for people who want to use mini sets. It's also, I love to design things that you can use scraps for as well. I think is great. So the Stripey Turtle Tank was great for that, but mini skein sets and scraps are definitely my like design mojo. I love that. But I am in love with this color. This is the Mine colorway from Woolberry, and I have knit a Stripey Turtle Tank with this as the main color. So I'm coming back to this color for a main color. It is the most beautiful, like creamy, it's the faintest pink. I don't know if you guys can see that super well here, but it is just very lightly pink, and I love it. And then, so we'll do that as the main color. And then, so that is actually on her berry cashmere base, which is a merino cashmere nylon, or is it just merino cashmere? Sorry, I have all my tags here. Merino cashmere nylon. So 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. I love the way this one feels. Then also on the cashmere base, I have this one. This is Escape, which is also, it is from the same collection that mine is from. It's from their Under the Sea or like water themed, ocean themed collection that they did last year. And then I also got, this one is also on berry cashmere. This is called Puget Sound, which I had to get. I'm in love with because it's like where I live. The Puget Sound is like right here. So Puget Sound, Escape, this is the main color. Then I also got this one. I'm doing all the cools first, I guess. This one is oh, what is it called? Night swim, I think. This was day 2 of the, I did a, like a 8-day or 12-day holiday, like, countdown from them. I didn't do their full advent, but I did a smaller one, and this was a color from that, and this is Berry Sock, which is an 80/20 merino nylon, and I just really loved this blue color, and I thought it went with the others really well. And then the last 2 I got from La Mercerie, which is the yarn store that I work at. We carry Woolberry as well, and this is Berry Sock. Sorry, this one isn't called Berry Sock. This one's called Berry Mini, and it's 80/20 superwash merino nylon. These are Berry Sock, and they are 80/20. Sorry, this is the wrong one. Ah! Where is it? This one is 80% BFL and 20% nylon. So it's a different, it's not merino wool, it's a different type of wool. And it has a little bit of a different feel to it. This one I think is really great for socks. I really like this base for socks, which I guess is why they call it Berry Sock. But these 2 colors are, this one is Marigold and this one is Moab. I love these colors. Oh my gosh, look at these 2. Ah, I'm obsessed. It's just so pretty. So I have these 2, and then I have these 2, and this one. These are gonna be, can I do this? No, oh, that one fell. Okay, whew. Let me go slowly so it doesn't fall. Here, these are my colors. So these are gonna be my stripes. Okay, looking at it here, I really love it. I don't know, the one I'm not sold on is the gray. So you guys tell me, what do you think? Do you like the gray? I kind of love it. I don't know, but now I'm not sold on the dark blue. I don't know. I love these colors. So then this will be the stripes, and then this one will be the main color. And I don't know, I kind of love it. I was just loving these colors together. I kept like pulling them out. I have like a yarn shelf downstairs, and I kept pulling them out and like looking at them together and like switching the orders and thinking about different combinations, and I just love them. So I think it will make a beautiful vest. And since these are full skeins, I'll have so much left over. I'm thinking about other things I can do together with them. Like I can knit, I've already knit 4 stripey turtle tanks, so it kind of feels like maybe I shouldn't knit another one, but I could knit a stripey turtle tank with a different main color, like a gray main color one could be really fun. Or I love these 3 colors together, which should not be a surprise to you at all. This is almost the exact colors of my Brioche-alicious shawl that I just knit in at the beginning of this year, or end of last year. But like the retro primary colors is absolutely my jam. But I love these 3 colors together. Ah! I'm sorry, I'm so obsessed with these 3 colors together. This is not... It's so good! I love these. So anyway, I'll have leftovers, and I'm gonna have to do something fun with the leftovers. This one I also think, I have a skein of Serengeti National Park, which is a colorway from Explorer Knits from her National Park collection. And I think this would go really well as heels, toes, cuffs for that. If I was going to make a pair of socks with that yarn. Excuse me. I think this one goes really well with it. Yeah. I'm just feeling really inspired by these colors. So if you couldn't tell. So my plan is to cast on soon for the vest and start working with these colors because I love them. And we'll see how that goes. Let me put them back. My watch is telling me I need to stand up. Right now. I'm going to put them back in this bag, and hopefully I will have fun progress on this vest for you all soon. So yeah, that's all of my works in progress, all my plans, all my finished objects. I guess I had one of those today as well. yeah, it feels like, I don't know, it feels like it's been a fun couple weeks of knitting. I am so excited to have this finished sweater. I'm also excited about the new designs I have on the needles. It's just, yeah, it just feels really fun. So that is it for knitting stuff. I do have some acquisitions, which I'm so excited about. So at La Mercerie, we started carrying Ovis, etc., which is a really fun brand, I believe. The brand is from Germany. And as soon as this yarn arrived at the shop a while ago, I was just so obsessed with the color palette. All of the colors that we carry, I'm in love with. There are like none that I don't love. And so it was really hard for me to decide which colors I wanted to buy. And I'm pretty certain I'm going back to the shop on Thursday just to work. And I'm almost certain I will come home with more because there's one color in particular that I can't stop thinking about that I think I have to have. So I bought lots of it. Let me pull it all out here. It's just under my table here, so I'll pull it all out so that you guys can see it. Here's my yarn. So we are carrying 3 bases in the shop. 2 of them are a wool and Aimee blend. I think one of them actually has silk. Maybe the fingering weight one has silk as well. Yes. So Igneae and Herba are the wool and Aimee blends. Aimee I was unfamiliar with until we started carrying this yarn. Aimee is a plant fiber that is supposedly just like a really great kind of like strengthening part of the yarn. So even though this fingering weight yarn doesn't have nylon in it, it has silk and Aimee in it, which makes it really nice and tough and sturdy. So I feel comfortable using it for socks. So anyway, there's fingering weight and a sport weight. The fingering weight has 60% wool, 20% Aimee, 20% silk, and the sport weight has 80% wool, 20% Aimee. So it also has that kind of like sturdiness to it. So there are 2 colorways that are, she calls them confetti colorways, and they have these little splotches of color. So I've actually knit with yarn like this before. I think Swan's Island has colorways like this, and I believe the way that I read that they do it is you tie off sections of the yarn when you dye it so those sections don't get dyed. And so it leaves these like little speckledy spots. And so she had 2 confetti colors that I really wanted to make socks out of. I knit Nofis a pair of socks out of that Swan's Island yarn in like gray with white speckles, and he wore holes into them. And so I want to replace them with another pair of gray and white speckled socks. So I got the one confetti colorway. This one is called Confetti Charcoal, and this is Igneae. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's the name of the base. It's the fingering weight wool Aimee silk. So I got this one to make Nofis a pair of socks, and then I got the other one, which is called Confetti Pine and Pink, and it's a green yarn with the speckles are like pink. I don't know if you can see that super well, but let me show you the speckles. I don't know if it will focus. There we go, yeah. Like, how cute is that? And then here's the gray one. You can see those beautiful little specks. So I got these 2 for socks, and then I wanted to get, I really like to knit garments much more than I like to knit like accessories or, you know, hats or shawls or anything. So, which is a little bit unfortunate because I love taking yarn and putting colors together, like doing color combinations, but I also love the garments that I find that I wear the most are the ones that are all one color. So I'm trying to think about like what's going to be wearable for me, what am I going to want to wear, but also like when I'm drawn to these colors and I want to put them together, like it's really tough to try to satisfy both of those things. And so what I ended up doing, rather than getting like just one sweater's quantity, I decided to get yarn to make a couple of like tees, like kind of summer tees or tops. And then I decided to get multiple colors, so I would make multiple of them. So I got, first, I am not exaggerating when I did tell Jess the owner of the yarn store, that I would die if I didn't buy this color. And yeah, maybe that is an exaggeration, but like, is it though? It's so pretty. And I do know what you're gonna say, which is exactly what Jess said, which is, Emily, this is almost exactly the same color as the sweater you are currently knitting. And to that I would say yes, but it's so good. It's so pretty. I love this color. It's just beautiful and golden. And this one is slightly more orange than the one I'm knitting right now. This colorway is called Corrie, and this is in the sport weight, which is 80% wool, 20% Aimee, like I talked about. And I'm planning to make another top out of this, and I can't decide what top I want to make, so maybe you guys can help me decide. My original thought was to make another rift tee, which is a tee patterned by Jaqueline Cieslak. I will post a picture here of either the pattern picture or like my original one, because I have made one before. Mine is like an oatmeal color. So I thought about making another one of those. There's also, I think it's called the Collette tee, which is another pattern, and I think it's, who is it by? I don't know how to pronounce these things. It's like Witre design. W-I-T-R-E. What? Witre? See, I can't do it. I can't. But this is called the, well, I'll put a picture up. It's called the Collette tee, so I'm also thinking about that for this one. I also have thought about the Anker, which is a pattern by Petite Knit. I feel like could be really fun with this. I'm not sure. Not all of those call for sport weight yarn. I don't think any of them. The Rift may call for sport weight yarn. The others are like DK maybe, but I figure I can just, you know, my willingness to just fudge things. I also talked last week about how sport weight is my favorite yarn weight to work with, so I feel like, yeah. So that's what I'm thinking about for this one. And then I had to get this color as well. So y'all know I love blue, and I'm often drawn to more like greenish blues, like tealy blues, but this one, maybe it's the name that got me. Maybe I was gotten by naming, but the name of this colorway is called Favorite Jeans, and if you go check out the La Mercerie Instagram page, you'll see a picture of this yarn with, it's a picture of me and my jeans, and it's dead on, like the exact same color. I also have my favorite denim jacket is almost exactly this color as well. And so I know what you're saying. You're thinking, is, Emily, why would you get yarn that's the exact same color as the jacket and jeans that you like, because you don't want to wear them together? And to that I would say, yes, I do have other clothes that I could wear it with, or like, can you imagine how funny that would be to wear jeans and a shirt and a jacket all like the same color and just look like a denim blob? Like, that would be funny. I don't know. But for this one, I'm pretty set on a pattern, and it's also by Witre design. I don't remember the name right now, and I'm very sorry for scrolling on here while I am podcasting. I know this is the worst. I'm pretty sure it was by them. Why can't I find it? What is this pattern? Am I mistaken? I know I have it saved on Ravelry. I guess I could go there. I just thought it was just gonna appear here for me. I guess that was my mistake. Okay, I'm gonna find it. I will post a picture of it also on the screen here. Ravelry, favorites. I should have looked at this before I recorded, but this is who I am. Skein tee. Is this by Witre? Yeah, it is. I couldn't find it on Instagram. So the Skein tee I think would be so precious with this blue yarn. The other one that I cannot stop thinking about, there is another color, which is a like peachy, pinkish, like reddish color called Clay. And I want to make a moonset tee by Ozetta, and I want to make it in that yarn. So that one I would probably get the fingering weight version. So I can say with pretty high certainty that you will see me with that yarn next week, because I think I'm gonna buy it. I have no self-control when it comes to beautiful tonal yarn. Like this is my weakness. And this, like these colors, this palette is just so me and so beautiful. So, okay, yeah. And I think for the most part, I've done pretty well not buying a ton of yarn since I started working at a yarn store. But this one, Ovis, etc., like, is absolutely my weakness. But I was telling you all about the 3 bases that we carry. There's another one that I have not bought any yarn of that base. We have less of it. And it's a little bit different. It's actually a Corrie mohair base, and I believe it is a fingering weight, and it feels really nice. And yeah, I would definitely recommend grabbing some. And the colors are all like really vibrant on that base. I feel like it's just a really beautiful, it takes the dye really beautifully. But you should definitely check out the website and look at the colors, because this whole palette is just, I'm obsessed. It's beautiful. So those are my yarn acquisitions that I have gotten in the last, I guess that's the last 2 weeks. It wasn't last week, it was the week before that I got that yarn. I also have a non-yarn acquisition. I have a plant acquisition. Let me grab it. Oh, it was a little stuck. So you remember, I think it was last time, I talked about how I bought a fern and how that was a bad idea because my ferns are my plants that do the worst. Well, what I did since then is get another fern because I don't know, I'm crazy, but it looks like it's doing okay. It does look sadder than when I got it. But this one actually, we were at Pike Place when my family was visiting, and we walked by this little like plant flower shop, and they had these ferns, and I thought they were beautiful. And they also had this really cute planter. I don't know if you can see super well. It's like white with this blue design on it. Go! These like flowers. It's so cute. But my sister's boyfriend Jack actually bought the planter and the plant for me when we were there, which is just so nice and so kind. And the plant is a Boston fern, which is just a very fun, just like happy, wiggly fern. I love ferns. If you guys are new here, if you're not new, you know this, but yes, I'm obsessed with ferns. And I probably shouldn't have them in my home because I can't keep them alive, but I'm gonna keep trying. So I have this, I now have 4 ferns in my home, and some of them are doing okay. So that is my plant acquisition for the week. Last up after acquisitions is just life things, like what's been going on in my life the last couple weeks. I didn't really do this segment last episode because I just did the Q&A, and that was long enough as it was. So the most exciting thing that happened in the last couple weeks, I've referenced this many a time, but my family came to visit. So my brother came first on Tuesday, and then a couple days later my sister came, and then her boyfriend Jack came. He was actually traveling to Seattle for work, which is really lucky. So he came and we spent the weekend together, and then he had to go work, and Hannah and Ben left on the following Tuesday. But we did some really fun stuff when they were here. They wanted to come and see the yarn store. They wanted to come see La Mercerie, where I work. My brother was so cute. I asked him like what he wanted to do while he was here, and he said, I want to see the spaces you frequent, the places you frequent. Rather than like wanting to do like touristy stuff or fun stuff, he like wanted to see where we go and like what our life is like here. And it had been a while since he'd been here. It had been several years, like pre-COVID, since he'd been here. So so yeah, it was really, really great to have them here. We got some unexpected good weather, and by good weather, I mean it didn't rain all day every day, and it was like kind of sunny and like 65. which is pretty good. Like, I was happy with that. But we got to spend a lot of time outside. We went and played disc golf a couple times. Ben and Jack and Nofis, my husband, all like to play disc golf. So, and I love to walk around and watch them play disc golf. And I'll take Norman and we'll just like walk with them. So we did disc golf a couple times. Like I mentioned, we went to Pike Place. We got donuts from the flower box. We, what else did we do? We went hiking one day. We hiked at Lake 22, which was gorgeous. Just unbelievable how pretty it was. There was quite a bit of snow at the top, so it was kind of slick. And Norman did not like the snow at the top, but it was definitely worth it. It was beautiful. I'll try to include a picture here. And let's see, we made lots of good stuff too. We made sourdough pizza. I made sourdough bagels that turned out really nice. We made homemade pasta one night, which was really fun. Yeah, it was the best time. We had an amazing time. It was so great to have them here. The weather was beautiful. So yeah, I feel so full and happy from having them here. And then I get to see them all again really soon because we are going to Madison where my sister and her boyfriend live. And my whole family, so not just me and my brother, but like Nofis is coming too, and then my parents and also my grandparents on my dad's side are coming as well. We're all going to go to Madison and see where Hannah and Jack hang out and live. We're going to see the places they frequent. And then we're also going to go down to Chicago and Milwaukee. And I know I've talked about this before, and folks have given me great recommendations for things to do and places to go while we're there. I spent some time in the last week planning that trip. I am I'm the planner of our family, the person who often does the trip planning and logistics. Because that's just who I am as a person. But I end up doing that often, and so in the last week I spent some time doing some planning for that trip, and after I started doing the planning is when I started to get really excited about what we're gonna do. We're gonna have some really fun, I think we're gonna go on a pizza tour of Chicago, which is just so fun. And let's see, I don't remember exactly everything we have planned, and I'll talk more probably after we go. I'll talk more about what we did there and how it went, but it's really fun to just look at what we're gonna do. So I'm really excited for that trip, and that is in just a couple weeks. We're leaving, actually, I think we're flying on mine and Nofis's wedding anniversary. Nofis and I are flying on our anniversary. We're flying on June 16th, and then we'll be there for just under a week. So that'll be really fun. I think I'm looking forward to hopefully good weather when we're there too. It'll be really fun to be outside and see family and everything. So we have that. Otherwise, things here have been a little slow. I talked about we played Gloomhaven twice yesterday. Otherwise, we were going to go to a baseball game on Sunday, and I did not feel well. I was not feeling very good that day, so we didn't end up going. So we still haven't gone to a game since opening day. We are planning to go hopefully in a couple weeks. I think I talked about this on the podcast before. My husband Ovis is a software engineer, and part of being a software engineer is that sometimes you are on call, which means that each team has a rotation of people, and one person at a time is on call for if any of their systems break. There's a person who's there and like ready to respond. And luckily, I think a lot of times for different teams and different positions and companies that you work for, you have to be on call for like 24 hours a day for like a week at a time, or 2 weeks, or however long your on-call rotation is. And luckily, Nofis's team has a partner team in Suzhou, China, and so that team does a 12-hour shift, and his team does a 12-hour shift, so he only has to be on call from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., so he doesn't have to be on call overnight. But anyway, he is on call for the next 2 weeks. He's on call. They have like a backup and a primary. I don't know why I'm going like super in-depth into this, but because he's on call, it's a little bit harder. He can't really like go and do lengthy things because he has to be close enough to his computer at home that he can like be prepared to help if things go wrong. So we aren't able to, or I mean, together. We are not able to go and do, you know, adventures during this time. So for the next 2 weeks, we're definitely going to be enjoying things at home, and hopefully the weather will be nice and we'll be able to spend some time outside. We can, like, of course, like, go on walks and go to the park nearby and stuff, that kind of stuff. But, and then after 6 p.m. we can as well. Sorry, I'm getting a scam call. But after he's done being on call, I think we have plans to hopefully go to another baseball game. And we're actually going to go to baseball games when we are in Chicago and Milwaukee as well. I've never been to Wrigley, which is the Cubs Stadium in Chicago, so we're going to go there. We're going to go to the Brewers Stadium in Milwaukee, and then later in the summer, actually in September, we're going to go to St. Louis, and we're going to go to a couple games there. So I'm very much excited for that. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. There are a couple of fun things you know, I guess I can, like, plug a couple things for the shop at La Mercerie, the yarn store that I work at. Like I say that every time. You guys probably know. La Mercerie, that's the yarn store that I work at. But we are actually hiring. So if you also want to work there, if you live in the Poulsbo, Washington area, so I actually commute from Seattle. I don't know that I would necessarily recommend that, but if you are crazy and dedicated like I am, then yes, and you're in Seattle, you can definitely do it. But yes, if you would like to work at La Mercerie and you are local to this area, you should definitely apply and reach out to Jess about it. Another thing is we are having Knit in Public Day festivities at the store as well. So if you're local and you want to come and knit with us, Worldwide Knit in Public Day is June 11th. I haven't really celebrated in the past. I've been, like, aware of it, but I haven't, like, gone anywhere and done anything. But it's going to be really fun. We have, like, a little courtyard near the shop, and we're going to spend some time outside knitting and have some, like, treats and decorations and stuff. It's going to be really fun. So if you want to come and hang out with me and knit in public, you absolutely should do that. And that is going to be Saturday, June 11th. So, yeah. I think that's all I had to talk about. I didn't talk about, I guess, our Sunday breakfasts. We have kind of slowed down a little bit on, I guess we did bagels when my family was here, and then this most recent Saturday we just did a classic sausage and eggs and pancakes, which is really good. Just, you know, a good classic. And then I think this upcoming Sunday we are going to make quiche. So I always love quiche. Quiche is a favorite of mine. But I haven't been doing a ton of baking recently. I'll probably get back into it a little bit, especially if we're going to be at home a ton the next couple weeks. Maybe I'll do some baking. But otherwise, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching with me today. I am just feeling really positive and excited about a lot of the stuff I'm working on. Norman, do you want to... we're gonna say hello today. Come here. Oh my goodness. I have Norman for just like a little, oh, you burped right in my face. Thank you. For a final little, I guess, hello and goodbye from Norman. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited about a lot of what I've been working on, and I just have a lot of really positive knitting energy right now, positive knitting vibes. So I can't wait to share some more of it with you. So I hope you do lots of knitting and, oh, and wiggle, and lots of wiggling, and watch lots of baseball, and have a great week. Bye.